The morning air in Washington, D.C. hangs crisp and gray, a faint mist curling around the streets like a ghostly shroud. Inside a temporary hotel suite doubling as Trump's team headquarters, Karoline Leavitt stands amidst a chaotic swirl of papers, coffee cups, and muted urgency. She's gearing up for the biggest television showdown of her young career, a live debate that could shift the political winds. Her team leader, Mike Torres, paces with his sleeves rolled up, a stack of files clutched in his hands. The table before them is a battlefield of its own. Transcripts of Senator Chuck Schumer's latest speech sprawl across it, key phrases circled and underlined in red ink like targets. Schumer's lame duck line is their big play, Mike says, his voice steady but carrying the weight of a general briefing his troops. Rachel Hayes will come at you hard with it. She's a pro at twisting words. Stay cool but hit back with facts. Don't let her drag you into the mud. Caroline adjusts her hair in a small mirror, propped against a coffee mug, a confident smirk tugging at the corner of her lips. I know Rachel's game, Mike. She'll open with sarcasm, then pivot to sob stories to tug at the heartstrings. But I've got the numbers, and I've got the pulse of the people. She won't see me flinch. Mike hands her a dossier, its pages crisp and heavy with data. Economic reports, job growth statistics, the tangible impact of Trump's tax cuts on the middle class. Use these, he instructs, tapping the file. She'll try to corner you, paint you as delusional. But if you expose Schumer's bluff, turn his own words against him, the audience will follow you. They're hungry for clarity. Caroline flips through the pages, her eyes scanning the figures, committing them to memory with the precision of a surgeon. Schumer's sinking ship metaphor. I'm flipping it. The Democrats are the ones drowning, not us. I'll make sure they feel the waves. Mike nods, a flicker of pride in his gaze. That's the spirit. Don't give Rachel a second to breathe. You ready? Caroline grabs her blazer from the back of a chair, slipping it on with a spark in her eyes that says more than words ever could. Always. Meanwhile, a few blocks away, Rachel Hayes occupies the cluttered green room of the studio, a space buzzing with a hum of cables and the sharp scent of burnt coffee. She sits at a vanity mirror, skimming Schumer's speech with the casual confidence of a predator sizing up prey. Her producer, Lila Bennett, hovers nearby, tablet in hand, her fingers darting across the screen as she plots their attack. Caroline's young but dangerous, Lila warns, her voice low and urgent as she scrolls through notes. She'll lean hard on stats, try to paint Trump as some kind of savior. You've got to pull her into emotional territory, hit her with the anger, the inequality, the stuff that gets the audience riled up. Rachel purses her lips, tapping her pen against the desk in a slow, deliberate rhythm. Schumer's rat's line is pure gold. If I can rattle her, get under her skin, she'll slip into defense mode. That's when we win, when she looks like she's scrambling. Lila smirks, a glint of mischief in her eyes. Keep her cool on camera, and we can slap a Trump's puppet label on her. The audience will eat it up. Trust me. Rachel nods, testing her microphone with a quick tap as she mutters under her breath. She thinks she's ready, but this is my turf. I've been doing this since she was in high school. As the hours tick by, both teams converge on the studio like opposing armies marching to the front. Caroline gazes out the taxi window, the city's gray skyline blurring past as she fires off a final tweet. Tonight, the truth speaks. We're ready. Rachel strides into the studio, winking at the audience with the easy charm of a seasoned host, her confidence unshaken. The two women are like boxers stepping into the same ring, each certain the night will end with their hand raised in victory. The studio lights flicker like restless stars, casting a harsh glow over the set as the air hums with electricity. The audience settles into their seats, a low murmur rippling through them, while cameras pivot into position, lenses gleaming. On the giant screen behind the desk, Senator Schumer's words blaze in bold red letters. Our plan is to make Donald Trump the quickest lame duck in modern history by showing how bad his policies are. By 2026, Republicans will feel like rats on a sinking ship. The director's voice cuts through the tension. Live in 3, 2, 1. Rachel Hayes opens with a polished smile, her tone smooth as glass. Good evening, America. Welcome to Hayes Perspective. Tonight we've got Karoline Leavitt, a rising star in Trump's camp, joining us. Senator Schumer dropped a bombshell this week. Make Trump a lame duck, dismantle his policies, and leave Republicans as rats on sinking ship by 2026. Karoline, welcome to the show. What's your take on Schumer's words? Karoline locks eyes with Rachel across the desk, her voice calm but edged with steel. Thanks, Rachel. Schumer's words aren't a plan. They're a confession. The Democrats have no real vision to offer the American people, so they're resorting to smearing Trump. It's an old trick, dust it off and trot it out again, and it's not going to work this time. Rachel raises an eyebrow, a faint trace of mockery curling her lips. A confession? That's a bold spin, Karoline. Schumer's saying loud and clear that Trump's policies have plunged this country into chaos. Even if your numbers argue otherwise, the public's anger is palpable. You can't deny that. How do you defend it? Karoline smiles, a quiet confidence radiating from her as she sidesteps the bait. Rachel, if there's anger out there, it's not from Trump's policies. It's from decades of broken promises by the Democrats. Trump didn't bring chaos. He brought results. Millions of new jobs, energy independence, secure borders. Schumer calls it chaos, but the people call it breaking free from a rotting status quo. The numbers don't lie. Unemployment dropped to 3.8% in 2024. Middle-class income jumped 6%. That's the story you're conveniently leaving out of the frame. Rachel taps the desk with her pen, cutting in with a sharp edge. Hold on a second, Karoline. Let's pivot to Schumer's sinking ship. He's predicting that by 2026, Republicans will collapse under Trump's weight. Don't you see the cracks in your party already? Isn't blind loyalty to him dragging you all off a cliff? Karoline leans forward slightly, her voice sharpening like a blade. Rachel, if a ship's sinking, it's the Democrats. They've been sailing on the same tired lies for years, and the public stopped buying the tickets. Schumer's sinking ship is a mirror reflecting his own party's panic. By 2026, the rats will be the ones who think the American people are fools, and the Democrats will be the ones pulling the plug. Republicans won't collapse. We'll unite because we're the voice of the people, not the elite. Applause ripples through the audience, a swell of approval that catches Rachel off guard. She scrambles to regain control, her tone firming. Bold words, Karoline. I'll give you that. But let's talk policy. Trump's tax cuts and trade deals overwhelmingly favor the rich, leaving the middle class to scrape by. Isn't Schumer's plan to dismantle them about fixing that injustice? Caroline tilts her head, flipping the argument with surgical precision. Rachel, those tax cuts put real money back in the middle class's pockets. Working families and small businesses felt the relief. Look at the 2023 data. 80% of households earning under $50,000 saw their tax burden shrink. While Democrats scream favoring the rich, their own policies propped up corporate lobbies. Think Obamacare's sweetheart deal for Big Pharma. Schumer's so-called fix means higher taxes and more red tape to punish the people. If they want to dismantle Trump's work, they should start by being honest with the public, but honesty's never been their strong suit. Rachel's voice rises, pushing harder. What about immigration then? Trump's wall and harsh policies divided this nation down the middle. Couldn't Schumer's plan be about healing that rift? Caroline remained steady, her response unshaken. Border security didn't divide us, Rachel. It protected us. In 2024, illegal crossings dropped 40%. Drug trafficking rings took a massive hit. While Democrats wail about division, families in border towns finally feel safe enough to sleep at night. Schumer's plan isn't about healing, it's about open borders, and that flies in the face of what the people want. Rachel seizes her final shot, leaning in. All right, Caroline, let's wrap this up with Schumer's lame duck prediction. Will Trump's second term end in chaos, or are you all still banking on miracles to pull you through? Caroline turns to the camera, her voice rising with conviction as she addresses the nation directly. Rachel, we don't believe in miracles. We believe in results. Let me tell you this. Schumer's lame duck comment will go down as the most ironic prediction in history, because while we're working for order, not chaos, they're obsessed with stopping Trump at all costs. You know, the sinking ship metaphor is interesting. When the Titanic went down, the orchestra kept playing. Democrats are doing the same, ignoring their sinking policies while strumming the same old tune. By 2026, America will see crystal clear who's really on their side. And from this studio, I'm speaking to the nation. Trump's vision is exactly what Schumer fears, because when he succeeds, their game is over. The studio erupts in applause, a thunderous wave that shakes the room. Rachel, visibly thrown by the Titanic twist, forces a tight smile and pivots. Well, that was a fiery debate. We'll be back after the break. As the cameras blink off, Caroline rises from her chair, offering Rachel a polite nod before striding backstage with the poise of a victor. The crew buzzes in hushed tones about her composure, and that jaw-dropping Titanic zinger, whispers of "she sank them," ripple through the team. Rachel remains at the desk, flipping through her notes with a quiet, frustrated sigh. Caroline had stolen the night out from under her. In the green room, Mike Torres greets her with a wide grin, clapping her on the shoulder. That Titanic line? Absolute genius. Social media's losing it. For Caroline Sink Stems is trending nationwide. Caroline pulls out her phone, scrolling through a flood of notifications. Thousands of supportive messages, clips of her closing line ricocheting across platforms like wildfire. The people loved it, she says, her voice steady but tinged with satisfaction. Rachel didn't see that coming, not with Schumer's own metaphor turned into a dagger against him. Across the hall in Rachel's green room, Lila Bennett slams her tablet onto the table, her frustration boiling over. That Titanic twist killed us, she snaps, pacing. The audience swallowed it whole. Hook, line, and sinker. Rachel nods grimly, her jaw tight. Next time, I'll bury her. She's sharp, but she's not untouchable. We underestimated her this round. That night, news outlets replayed the debate on an endless loop, dissecting every moment. Conservative pundits crowned Karoline a rhetorical titan, praising her for sinking Schumer's narrative with a single, brilliant stroke. Liberal analysts, meanwhile, grumble that Rachel sank under the pressure, caught off guard by the unexpected metaphor. On social media, a viral post sums it up. Karoline Leavitt turned Schumer's ship into the Titanic. Game over, Dems. Back at the hotel, Karoline sits in her room, sipping coffee as the TV glows with coverage of her triumph. Her phone buzzes. Mike's voice crackles through. Get ready, Karoline. This is just the opening salvo. Schumer's team will come swinging after this. They're rattled. Karoline leans back, a quiet smile playing on her lips as she watches a replay of her closing line. Let them try, she says. We've got the wind and the people behind us. They're the ones sinking now.